Some new moons are initiations, but this eclipse is actually a closure of all the patterns that you no longer require, all the patterns that no longer serving you either, and all the patterns that are holding you back from being shining and expressing at your fullest potential. Because the energy of Leo can invite you to talk, can invite you to express, can invite you to shine your light, and probably you have heard this before. But what this eclipse in Leo is really doing, it's cutting off all the replacements that are holding your real light from shining into their full potential. Because Leo comes with this wound. I need to be seen to be loved, or my identity depends on my performance. And this is only the wound. But when Leo actually heals this wound, what really becomes is an identity that doesn't need to perform. It is an identity that can express from authenticity. It's an energy that can actually shine the light from the most authentic version of themselves. And this eclipse, total solar eclipse in Leo, is coming here to just shine the light into the shadows of every one of us that are holding us back from being that person who we're actually truly inside of us. The person that we are meant to be, not the one that we've been told that we had to become to just fit in the society standards and blueprint. And if you're ready to know all the coding that it's gonna be light up during this new moon eclipse in Leo, stay with me because I'm gonna tell you everything today. Welcome to the podcast. My name is Monica Argolla. I'm a quantum astrologer and a holistic coach. If you're new here, and welcome back if you've been here before. It's always lovely to see you back. And today we're going to be talking about the total eclipse that's going to be happening in Leo this month in August. And this eclipse is going to be happening on the 12th of August exactly, and it's going to be at 20 degrees and 8 minutes of Leo. Same from the top of my mind. So let's begin talking about what is actually an eclipse and what's happening. Let's explain first what is an eclipse from the astronomical point of view. So from the astronomy, which is just the study of the stars, is that the sun, the moon, and the earth are aligned in the same line. So we have the total solar eclipse, like it's going to happen this one, which is very uncommon. Normally it's a lunar eclipse. And the total solar eclipse is when the sun, the moon, and then the earth. So you're going to see the picture now in the screen. And then we have the lunar eclipse, which is when the sun is the earth and then the moon on the back, right? So basically in the lunar, the earth is hiding the sun. In the moon, the sun is hidden by the moon from the earth perspective because we are in the earth. So we look from here to the sky. So right, understanding this, I think it's really important to understand that. And then we're going to understand what actually happened in the astrology, which is the study of the energies, let's say, of the universe and the behaviors happening. What happens when we have an eclipse is that everything is amplified. That's why eclipses tends to feel very intense time. If you look back to February this year, 2026, we had the first eclipse of this year, and then we had another one in March, which was So the first one was in Aquarius, and it was quite intense energy. It was a gate and it was an opening and it was a portal for all release and let go of all identities that are no longer serving us, especially identities that they were created to survive and are no longer required. So you could connect with your most authentic identity that is actually your soul self. And this is mostly what's been happening during the last months. If you've been listening to this podcast, I've been sharing every week how we were doing during that transition and giving you like the codes, and the patterns and the questions to just unlock it. So highly encourage you, if you're enjoying this podcast and enjoying what I'm saying and you are not subscribed yet, to subscribe so you don't miss any of my episodes, where I guide you guys to and ladies to transition these times and how to get into the fullest potential in every of them, and how to taking advantage the energies of the universe so you just expand your light at your full expression of the expression of your soul. So having said that, coming back to this time. So in Feb, we had that energy, maybe that open up the identities you've been realizing about versions of you that no longer serving you. And this is only just a preparation. This is the preparation for the new earth. And the new earth is a frequency, it's energy. And this is where we are transitioning, guys. We're transitioning to become energy, to speak with our energies, to read energy and make decisions based on our intuition, which is how we read the energy. And for that, there's a preparation. Maybe you'll be experiencing like dark nights of the soul, because how you transition through the shadows, because it's part of accepting the shadows and embodying the full expression. Even Carl Jung, and can't say literally what he said in the quote, but Carl Jung used to say that for us to embody the full expression of our soul, we had to stop rejecting the shadow. And we have to accept the shadow as well as the light, because it's the only one way that we can actually embody the full expression of our soul. When we do not accept our shadow, we keep hiding it, we keep avoiding it, because we are judging that shadow, because at some point in our development, in our education, in our growing, we were told as kids, oh, this is bad, like feeling jealousy is bad. So you repress every time that you feel jealousy, or you feel envy, or you feel sadness, or you feel grief, or you were told don't as well, but that's a good one. Don't cry or don't yell. That's what I wanted to say. Don't yell, which is, shouting, meaning. And every time that you felt like yelling, you were judging yourself and you were criticizing yourself and you were repressing and suppressing this. And this is what I'm receiving. That's why I said several times judging, because I was receiving this to communicate. And then I was like, why am I saying judging all the time? Right. So that is the message. So the message is that the more that we are repressing all these shadows, we are not accepting it. We're going to keep projecting that into our reality. It's about accepting the shadow and move on. You don't need to stay in the shadow. You just have to see it, evolve it, and move on. And for this, sometimes it is required to feel it. It is required to feel it, to see what is going to be there. But that's going to lead you into authenticity. And this eclipse in Leo is showing that shadows where we are not the fullest expression of authentic version of ourselves, where we are still hiding behind the shadows and the masks instead of being ourselves truly. And we're going to be reflected. And for this authenticity, which is one of the key words, I did a reel this week in talking about Leon's Gate portal that you actually can see on the shorts here on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok. It's in there. It was in my car and I was sharing like all the transmission about the Lion's Gate. And authenticity is one of the biggest one for Leo. Because when Leo, it's in the essence, it has corrected their soul, is when they shine without fear. It's when they shine without waiting for validation. It's when they shine without waiting for the applause. And this is in some point is in all of us, because if you look at your natal chart, you got Leo in one of the houses, and this is where you're gonna be shown when this eclipse is gonna be appearing for you. Could be in relationships, if it's in house 7, could be in house 3, could be communication, siblings, neighbors, depending on the house. So that is another thing with eclipse, this is where could be reflected the most, and where you're gonna have the opportunity to evolve, because eclipses are an opportunity for evolution, soul evolution, to release the layers of the onions where you've been holding yourself back still. Leo, it's a fixed sign. So all the fixed signs such as Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, they're gonna feel that. This eclipse is gonna be seen in Spain, Portugal, Greenland, Ireland, and most of the Atlantic Ocean. Also, partially, it's gonna be in some parts of Europe, in some parts of Africa, Russia, in the Balkans, and the UK, and the north of the States, United States, and Canada. Another thing with eclipses, that the eclipses are gonna be always close to one of the nodes. The nodes, it's a geometrical point calculated in astrology with the ellipse of the orbits of the moon and the earth around. So the orbit of the earth around the sun, and the orbit of the moon around the earth. There is a picture right now in the screen. When that is happening, right, when we have an eclipse, it's going to be always close to one of the two nodes, which is the north node or the south node. In my previous episodes, I've been talking about the nodes. We changed nodes. It was the different axes. Before, it used to be in Virgo and in Pisces. And in the end of July, the nodes moved to Leo and Aquarius. So the north node is in Aquarius and the south node it's in Leo. What that means is that we have the sun, the moon, Jupiter, and the south node in Leo. There's so much energy in Leo, which is going to be very amplified by Jupiter and the eclipse as well. South node is about what you letting go, what you already outgrown, when you are done with this and you're ready to let go, so you move on into your new life, new chapter, new episode of this lifetime. And this is really what this eclipse is going to be reflecting, it's going to be showing to many of us. It's like, what part of you are done and they're holding you back, and what part of you are ready to continue. Another thing is with Leo and sovereignty. Leo is very connected with sovereignty, like the king, the queen, the monarchy as well. Like this leadership too, which is the hard leadership. But the sovereignty is a capacity to have your inner authority, to create the way of life that works for you, to make decisions from your inner authority. And the other thing that this eclipse is bringing up is our authenticity. And living from sovereignty requires us to also be authentic with ourselves, because we make decisions from this part of us that is true to themselves, that doesn't need to copy others, that accept who he or she is. Authenticity requires vulnerability as well. And many of us, we were told for many years, especially growing up, that vulnerability, it was weakness. But it's actually a strength. Because vulnerability allows us to actually connect with a person heart to heart and connect with intimacy with this person without having to pretend a mask. I know it can feel hard sometimes. after so many years that we had so many layers around of us. But this is what this eclipse is doing, is showing all the layers where we outgrow and we are no longer these people, these versions, these identities. So we can actually be who we truly are and shine from that authentic energy, because we're going to be reading energies. We're going to be communicating through energy. And that is the reality, right? I dislike the word reality because the angle is reality. This is a hologram. But what I'm trying to say is that this eclipse it's a dance between the light and the shadow. It's a opportunity to meet ourselves into the most authentic version of ourselves. It could be sometimes uncomfortable, it could be painful to accept them, but allowance is the key. Allowance is the key for that. At the same time, I did a reading, a tarot reading, while I was preparing this episode, and I had here the Ace of Wands. And this is like mostly is creative energy, inspiration from unexpected ways. This urge to start new projects, which come from courage and comes from passion and love. So I found it so interesting that was the card that I pulled today for while I was preparing, because it's very much connected with Leo energy, right? It's that creativity, it's that initiation, it's the authentic inspiration. Instead of copying other people, modeling other people, it's about what we are inspiring to each other, which is lovely. I love that. I love seeing like people. I'm there, like part of my work is inspired as well with this podcast, and I'm up for that. And this urge also to start the projects that light you up, maybe this thing that's been in your mind, or you've been like visualizing and actually creating it. This is the beginning for them. And another thing that this time is really bringing is the coherence between your thoughts, your words, and your actions. The coherence as well between your mind, your heart, and your gut feelings. Do you know that we have between 100 and 500 millions nerves in our guts? It's not like the second brain. It's our intuition guiding us. It's part of being part of the new earth, this frequency that we are creating all. Also sharing that as this eclipse is going to be in fire, there's so many planets in the fire energy. Eclipses are very connected with fast radical change and with transformation. So don't be surprised if things change fast, if things happening in quantum leaps, you won't be surprised either due to these energies. Just to close, because this is Alchemist Journey, I want to close with a couple of questions of reflection, of really to go inwards, because this is part of the work that I do. It's not just like sharing about astrology. How I normally work with myself and with people is that I decode patterns, but I transform them at the same time. My intention with these episodes are always to bring you the questions that make you just expand as well. And two of the questions for today is, what parts of your life you're still performing to be loved, to be seen, to be validated, and to be recognized, instead of just and simply be. So I'm going to repeat again. What parts of your life you're still performing to be loved, to be seen, to be validated, to be recognized, instead of simply being. And the second question is, where are you still being big outside but keeping small inside? Where Are you still big outside but keeping small inside? And that is all for today. If you are enjoying this episode, things are resonating, and actually maybe you felt something inside of you, any patterns talk to you, any parts of your body, and you would like to work on this part, I invite you to discover, to explore the link in my bio where you can work with me and we can have a 15-minute chat conversation. And this is a empathetic, safe space where we just discuss what is your situation and see how my root program can work for you. And if you're enjoying these episodes, if you like to receive more episodes like this one, I highly encourage you to click in the subscribe button, thumbs up, and the bell button so you get notified anytime that I upload a new episode like this one. Also, I love hearing from you in the comments. I really enjoy reading your comments. So let me know, how is this eclipse showing up for you? What things are appearing in your life at the moment? What parts are reflected? What is your astrology saying? Let me know in the comments. You can also share that with a friend, with someone who would love to know about what's happening right now. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Shanti.